disappointed with this kid. He's a special talent. And it's Skip, think about it, by moving back, and which is rare. I don't remember teams. Maybe this is a new thing that's coming. Teams that's in the same division trading with each. I ain't helping you. I wish I might help you, and you gonna take somebody that could possibly beat my eyes in. Why would I do that, Skip?
I was shocked. We did business with the hated Philadelphia Eagles. How dare you, Jerry Jones? But it worked out.
But Skip, you know this.
He walked away with an extra third-round pick, and we will see this evening how that gets utilized.
Asante Samuel Jr. is still on the board. His dad played. Skip. Tyson Campbell from Georgia and Elijah Molden. So there's still some corners on the board. But I know you wanted Patrick Surtain the second. But I don't believe you're going to be disappointed with this kid.
I hope you're right. It tore my guts out when your Denver Broncos, speaking of, stole Patrick Surtain II right out from under us. And I just tweeted, please, Denver, don't take Patrick Surtain. And they did it. And I knew they would do it. And yet, was my team sitting on J.C. Horn? It may have been. I don't know that for a fact. I just know I was sitting on Patrick Surtain. Shannon, obviously, it is a glaring need.
Yes.
And Patrick Surtain, to me, I watched him a lot. He is the essence, the epitome of a perennial Pro Bowl cornerback. I could not draw him up any better than to have a father who was a Pro Bowl cornerback. And when they hugged last night, I got tears in my eyes because that was some culmination. They hugged and they had tears in their eyes because father taught son, and son arrived last night as the 9th overall pick. And he plays the position the way it was meant to be played. He plays the pass and the run equally strongly. He is long and strong.
And you need to be that in that defense that Dan Quinn's going to run. The corners got to tackle. Richard Sherman is a good tackler. Brandon Browner was a great tackler.
He was made for this.
Yes.
And he was the perfect bookend to his ex-Alabama teammate, Trevon Diggs, because he is solid, secure. He's going to make the correct play every time, while Trevon is going to gamble and clue and maybe swing and miss occasionally. He may pick one off and he may get burned. So to me, I'm sitting, I'm waiting, and then as soon as that didn't happen, I said, I won't be surprised if Jerry trades back. I had no idea he would trade back with Philadelphia. And he gave them the Heisman Trophy winner. But they assured him, we are going offense. I'm sure he didn't say, who are you going to pick? But as long as it was not defense, then Jerry was fine to do
what
the
did they
deal.
put Okie take Michael Parsons?
Well, listen, you would have heard about it last night from Jerry Jones. But sometimes there's honor among thieves, right? You have to have some honor.
I'm trading you. I'm giving you something to value. You can't tell. Skip, if you pay me money, you can't tell me what I can buy with it. You done traded the pig.
Jerry would have gone off on them.
Jerry would have lost his mind.
He would have lost his mind. But they assured him. And I think Howie Roseman is honorable enough, and obviously Jeffrey Lurie. They just said, hey, we're just going to go offense. And it was pretty clear that Devontae's still sitting there.
Dougie P. and Orlando Scandrick might disagree with you about Howie Roseman.
No, I know. I got it. But I mean, honorable in this context, right? Team to team, that you could trust him on draft night.
Yeah, because if you do that,
I got you. You're
never going to be able to trade with anybody again, because that get out.
That would do you in. Okay, I got it. Okay, so I immediately tweeted, because we talked about him, that Micah Parsons was a pretty great consolation prize, a plan B, however you want to look at it. And I'm hoping you are right about him, because he has a rare burst for a big man. And I watched him a lot 2 years ago at Penn State when number 11 just leaps off the screen. But trust me, he's more instinctive than diagnostic. You know, he's not reading and reacting. He's just reacting. And they just let him fly all over the football field. And yet Jerry was adamant last night. They are projecting him as a pass rusher. So again, you think, well, Sean Lee walked into the sunset because his body finally betrayed him like yours eventually did, but his just came all apart. And so it's a glaring need to have an outside linebacker. But I think Jerry's thinking more hand in dirt, more Von Miller-esque, where you're listed as a linebacker who rushes the passer. Didn't they list Von as a linebacker?
Yeah, that's what he was,
Okay, well, okay. So if you got that going on, and he was mostly blitzing, obviously. It used to be called red dogging when it was just the linebacker. But but his splash plays, his flash plays were all blitz type plays where he came off the weak side and just terrified, he terrorized.
Well, Skip, why don't you use him like they do Devin White? Devin White's a Mike Backer, and he blitzes more than any Mike Backer.
He's inside.
Yes.
But again, you can go Will, Mike.
Yeah, play him at Willie. I'll play him at Willie.
Yeah.
I mean, but look, I think that might take Keanu O'Neal off the field.
Well, it does. And again, that's why they got him. They're going to transition him to the weak side backer because he's had an Achilles and an ACL.
Right.
So he can't run the way he did when he was the 17th overall pick.
Right.
So I'm thinking, okay. So here's the problem with this. I hope you're right about Micah Parsons, and I'm not. I certainly don't hate this pick, especially if he's, listen, he will step on the field next year and be the best player on my defense. As soon as he steps on the field. And I like DeMarcus Lawrence, but he just he hasn't lived up to $20 million a year.
Correct.
And I believe this kid has more explosive athletic ability than DeMarcus Lawrence does. And obviously, Jalen Smith had his little flash for a while and made the Pro Bowl, and Wolf Hunter made the Pro Bowl or going back 3 years ago.
Right.
And then what? Well, both of them have had injuries problems, or they just have faded.
Wait, if I'm them, I'll plug him in. Hey, he's going to be our Bobby Wagner.
Okay.
In this defense, let him be Bobby Wagner.
Let him just run to the football.
Let him go hunt.
Okay, all right, well, that's fine with me. Right now, listed on their depth chart as the starting cornerback is C.J. Goodwin. Guess where he went to school? The University of California in Pennsylvania. I didn't even know there was a University of California in Pennsylvania, but that's where he played football and was obviously undrafted, and he's been in 7 years. He played for Dan Quinn for a little while in Atlanta. He's bounced around the league, and yet he's listed right now as my starting cornerback. So now what do you do? Well, to your point, maybe there's somebody down the line, second, third round, but listen, I got personal issues with Richard Sherman, but I'd take him just because he played for Dan Quinn, and I still think he's got some football left. So he's still sitting out there. My man Casey Hayward from Vanderbilt University was once drafted in the second round by Mike McCarthy in Green Bay.
Right.
And remember, he went to the Chargers. And
was all-pro at one time.
At one point, in 1 year, Pro Football Focus ranked him the #1 cornerback, but that was 4 years ago.
Right.
Okay, well, he's still sitting out there. And that Brashad Breeland, who started all year for the Chiefs last year, he's still sitting out there. Well, is there a quote-unquote cheap buy here that you could plug in and get through a year with at the other corner? Because, we re-signed Jordan Lewis, but he's the slot corner.
Right.
So I don't know. There's still a glaring hole at cornerback.
There is a glaring hole, Skip, but this guy was too good to pass up. You can't pass him up.
I got it. And I hope you're right. You just let him play football, but is he going to play within the scheme? No, he will not play within the scheme. Is he going to be cerebral like Sean Lee was? No.
No.
Because Sean Lee played more with his head than his body.
Right.
This kid is a sensational, he's a freakish, big, strong, fast athlete. Freakish.
Yep. I like it.
Thank you.
Like the pick.
Shannon Sharp gives Jerry Jones an A, right?
Finally. He finally got something right, Skip.
Can't go wrong with that choice, right? I just feel like there's so much upside. But you know who else we are excited about? I am looking forward to watching next year, the Bears. Did they find their quarterback of the future?